Hey, hello guys. Today our topic is about measuring two. Okay, so let's move into the first slide about circle fundamentals. Okay, so first we can understand here we have the circles and we have several basic parameters like radius r means half of the diameter, right? Okay, so we said radius means from the central to any point on the circle's distance, right? That is radius r. And diameter means two times radius, okay? That means total lines passing through the central point, okay? That is point O. And here we have the circumference. We said that circumference means the perimeter of the circle, okay? So here we can find this a perimeter of a circle, right? Okay. And we also have arc. You choose like some part of the circles, and here you can set the purple means the arc or arc length. Okay, that is it. So let's move to the next part about the circumference formula. Okay, so for the formula for circumference, we can set that the circumference can be written down as 2 times pi times r, or c, or circumference equals to pi times d, because 2 times radius equals to total diameter. Okay, so for example, like here, if it says like a circle has a radius of 7 centimeter, call it the circumference. So we can say the circumference equals to 2 times pi times the radius, 2 times 3.142 times 7 equals to 43.988 centimeter. Okay, that is for this formula. And the area formula we can written as the area equals to pi times r squared. Okay, so here r means radius. Okay, so we can say like pi is a constant value approximately equals to 3.14, okay? And we can say here, so many students confuse 2 pi r with the pi r squared. So please every time remember that pi r squared, you have r squared, you have meter squared that represent for the area. And we just have r radius here represent for the circumference, okay? And we also have some semicircles and quarter circles, okay? So about the semicircle, we have the area equals to a half times pi times r squared, okay? And the arc length here means half of the circle. We have the total circle is 2 pi r, right? And the half of the circle is pi times r, okay? So the total perimeter for a circle is pi r plus here, we also have another diameter is 2r, right? Okay, that is a total perimeter right here, okay? So we can have some example like here, okay? So sometimes the area and circumference given, you have to calculate the radius. Like here is that the circle has an area of 50 centimeter square, right? Find the radius. So we knew that area's formula equals to pi r square, right? So it means pi r square equals to 50, okay? And you can then set r square equals to 50 over pi because we knew pi is a constant number, right? And then we can both like make a square root at both sides, right? That means r equals to square root 50 over pi, right? So the final value here approximately equals to 3.99 centimeter, okay? And that is for this formula. Okay, and finally we have some deliberate practice for here, okay? So you can just first try on yourself if you want to do it on yourself, but if you want to follow with me, you can keep on going, okay? So for first problem is that the area and circumference of a circle with d diameter equals to 12 centimeter, right? So for d, you can set equals to 2 times radius, right? So here, radius equals to 6 centimeter, okay? So the area here equals to r squared, okay? So area can be written as pi r squared equals to 36 pi, okay? And circumference can be written as 2 pi r, right? That is 6, sorry, that is 12 pi, right? Okay, that is 12. That is for first problem. And then for second problem, the semicircle has a radius of 5 centimeter and find total perimeter, right? So we can say here, it is a semicircle, right? And the radius is 5 centimeter, here's 5 and 5. Total perimeter here is for 10 pi, okay? That is for 10 pi. But remember that because total perimeter for the total circle is 2 times pi times radius 5, right? But here we only have a semicircle, so here we have to divide it by 2. So here, that is 5 pi, okay? And also you can find 5 and 5 are the other two side of the for the parameter, so total parameter is 5 pi plus 10, okay? That is for second problem. And for third problem is that circumference of a pound of a circular pound is 31.4 meter, okay? Find the area. So for here, you can set that pi times r squared equals to the total circumference 2 pi r, right? Sorry for that. 2 pi radius equals to 31.4 meter, okay? And then you can divide it by pi on the both side, okay? So radius here equals to 5 centimeter, right? Okay, 5 meter, sorry, 5 meters. And then area here equals to pi r squared equals to 25 pi, okay? 25 pi, that is for third problem. And for last problem is that a silver ring has an outer radius 1.2 centimeter and an inner radius for 1 centimeter, right? So here is a ring, like here. And we have to find the area of the cross-sectional area, like here. So we have said here, using the bigger circle's area minus the smaller circle's area, right? That is pi times 1.2 square minus pi times radius square is 1 square, right? That is for 0.44 pi as our final answer, okay? Okay, that's for today's our lesson. I hope you can understanding for how to calculate the circumference and the area of a simple circle. Okay, see you next time. Bye.